Housing in Vancouver is expensive. For $1 million, you're usually looking at about 800 square feet of shared walls and a strata fee. But travel 50 kilometers away from the city center, and that same budget buys you an entirely different reality. Twilight Island, a 1.7-acre patch of rock, forest, and 2 private beaches sitting right at the entrance to Ganges Harbor. Less than a year ago, this property was listed at 1.35 million Canadian dollars. Today, it's sitting at 965,000. That is a massive 29% haircut in a matter of months. This table breaks down exactly what that price tag gets you. On the left, a $1 million city condo gets standard urban amenities. On the right, Twilight Island offers nearly 74,000 square feet of land, a wooden cabin, and absolute privacy. Dropping below the $1 million mark makes this look like an incredible steal, but buying a private island is completely divorced from standard real estate math. To understand if this is actually a deal, we have to look at the hidden costs of isolation. Right now, British Columbia's property market is dealing with steep borrowing costs. High interest rates are making traditional mortgages much harder to carry, even for standard residential units in the city. When rates go up, the impact doesn't hit all properties equally. Vacation homes and luxury off-grid properties are the first to feel the pain because they are discretionary purchases, not primary needs. This funnel shows a concept called market depth. It measures the active buyers who have the cash and desire to purchase a specific asset. Millions of people need an apartment, but the pool of people actively shopping for a boat access-only island is incredibly small. When you combine those high interest rates with a shallow pool of buyers, the math is brutal. Sellers eventually have to compromise, forcing the asking price down by hundreds of thousands of dollars. This $385,000 price cut is the market working exactly as it should. It is simply pricing in the severe daily realities and the heavy operational friction of living surrounded by open water. The first hurdle to island ownership is simply getting to the front door. You simply cannot drive to Twilight Island. Every trip to your property has to start here. You have to travel to the nearest major town on Salt Spring Island, launch from the Ganges Harbor, and take a boat across the inlet. That short trip is entirely dictated by the weather. High winds, winter storms, or heavy fog can physically trap you on the island or keep you from reaching it, immediately ruling out any reliable daily commute to a mainland job. That lack of road access cascades into every aspect of daily life. Forgetting a tool for a repair, needing fresh groceries, or requiring emergency medical help all require marine logistics. Every single item has to be manually carried onto a boat and hauled off at your dock. In exchange for all that physical friction, you get absolute undisturbed isolation. You control the land, and there are no immediate neighbors to look into your windows. You are essentially trading the financial premium of living near a paved road for the physical and temporal costs of managing your own marine transport. Once you actually arrive on the island, you have to keep the lights on. This brings us to the infrastructure variable. There is no municipal water pipe or electrical grid connecting you to the rest of the province. You are entirely responsible for managing a private well for drinking water, maintaining a bank of solar panels and batteries, and keeping the existing wooden A-frame cabin structurally sound against the ocean air. We can visualize this trade-off using this chart. On the vertical axis, we have daily logistical effort. On the horizontal axis, asset scarcity. A typical city home sits right here in the bottom left. Low effort, but low scarcity. Twilight Island sits at the absolute opposite end of the spectrum. It offers maximum physical scarcity, but requires maximum daily effort to run. Being your own utility company demands a massive invisible budget of both time and money. It requires technical capability that a traditional homeowner paying a monthly utility bill never has to think about. Beyond the daily logistics, there is a strict financial reality to consider: market illiquidity. Liquidity is simply how fast you can turn an asset back into cash without losing money. Sinking nearly $1 million into an off-grid property means that money is locked up. If you suddenly need cash to cover debts or unexpected expenses, you cannot quickly liquidate an island. The counter to that risk is the island's intrinsic, long-term value. The British Columbia coastline is completely finite. They are not building new private islands, which gives the land strong anti-depreciation logic over decades. But looking at this chart, you can see how current economics affect short-term plans. As the interest rate line climbs higher, the liquidity of vacation properties plummets towards zero, meaning buyers disappear. If you buy this island today and try to sell it next year, you fall right into this widening gap. Attempting a quick exit in a slow market practically guarantees a massive capital loss. This is exactly why evaluating off-grid property using city metrics like price per square foot leads to terrible investment decisions. The rules of the game are completely different. So applying all this data regarding access, infrastructure, and liquidity, we can determine exactly who should and shouldn't buy Twilight Island. This decision tree breaks down buyers by motivation. First, the short-term flipper. Without fast buyers to generate a quick ROI, flipping fails immediately. Next, the urban commuter. Weather dependency crushes the idea of sleeping off-grid while maintaining a rigid city workweek. If you require fast capital liquidity or reliable daily access to the mainland, If you can integrate solar panels and boat trips into your routine, the psychological payoff is massive. If you have the technical skills to maintain the well and the boat, the outcome is an affordable, private retreat, completely insulated from city noise. At $965,000, Twilight Island is priced correctly. It is not a magical discount. It is the exact financial reflection of the heavy operational bandwidth required to keep it running. The true cost of a private island isn't the mortgage. It is the sheer logistical endurance required to survive the isolation you've paid for.